So Christmas is upon us, and I know that many of you folks who are watching this on our YouTube channel may be considering, well, should I be coming to Mass or not? And I know all of you want to be here for Mass. Let me just mention that the resurgence of the pandemic is at its absolute worst right now. And if you're concerned about coming to Mass with regards to being where there might be a large number of people, you really should take that into account. Our schedule has Mass at 4 o'clock and 6:30 and 9 p.m. and midnight on Christmas Eve, Thursday. Those Masses are usually very crowded, particularly the 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Mass probably will not be enough room for the number of people who want to come, because our church is only half the number of people can come into the church because we have it roped off for safe distancing reasons. We will have a Mass in the hall, but even there, the chairs there are 6 feet apart for safe distancing, so we don't have as much room for people. So I would suggest that if you're determined that you want to come to church for Christmas, to consider Christmas morning, perhaps at 7 o'clock or at 9 o'clock. That might work out for you. But I would also caution that the Christmas Eve masses will be many more people than we would normally have at a Mass. These few days before Christmas is always a busy time, but maybe this year it may not be as busy as usual, because usually the week before Christmas is filled with parties and extra shopping, and for many, getting ready to travel or to receive visitors. The pandemic has, or at least should have, put a hold on many of the normal pre-Christmas tasks and parties. And there should be more time to focus on what Christmas is about. But the trouble is that we're human beings, and we tend to fill up our lives with no matter what the situation, and we always end up rushing around. I'd like to remind you of my favorite Advent story. It's the story of Befana. I use it every few years and all. It's actually a poem. Befana, the housewife, scrubbing her pane, saw 3 old sages ride down the lane, saw 3 great travelers pass her door, Gaspar, Balthazar, and Melchior. "Where journey you, sirs?" she asked of them. Balthazar answered, "To Bethlehem, for we have news of a marvelous thing. Born in the stable is Christ the King." "Give him my welcome." Then Gaspar smiled. "Come with us, mistress, to greet the child." "Oh, happily, happily would I fare, were my dusting through, and I polished the stair." Old Melchior leaned on his saddle horn, "Then send but a gift to the small newborn." "Oh, gladly, gladly I'll send him one, where the hartstone swept and my weaving done. As soon as I bake my bread, I'll fetch him a pillow for his head, and a coverlet too," Befana said. "When the rooms are aired and the linen dry, I'll look to the baby." But the 3 rode by. She worked for a day and a night and a day. Then, gifts in her hand, she took up her way. But she never found where the Christ child lay. And still she wanders at Christmas time, houseless, whose house was all her pride, whose heart was tardy, whose gifts were late, wanders and knocks at every gate, crying, "Good people, let the bells begin. Put off your toiling and let love in." That is precisely what we need to do. We need to make time for what really matters. We need to focus on the whole meaning of Christmas and let love in. We get so tied down with our Christmas routines that we don't give enough time to consider why the birth of Christ is so significant. The Christ event, from the birth of the Word made flesh to his death, resurrection, ascension, and the sending of the Spirit, the Christ event is the center of all human history. All meaningful actions of human history that took place before Bethlehem pointed towards the Word becoming flesh. Every meaningful event that takes place after Bethlehem takes its meaning from the Christ event. We heard this in today's second reading. To him who strengthened you, according to my gospel and the proclamation of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery kept secret for long ages, but now manifested through the prophetic writings, and according to the command of the eternal God, made known to all nations, to bring about the obedience of faith to the only wise God, through Jesus Christ be glory forever and ever. I fear that in this year of the coronavirus and political turmoil, we've gotten so tied up in the events around us, as important as they are, that we've lost our focus on the one event that matters. God has entered human history by becoming one of us. He has restored the spiritual life that mankind willingly sacrificed to pride and materialism. He has defeated the power of evil with the power of love. He has destroyed arrogance with humility. He has returned the disobedient to obedience with God. And so, we must behold. To behold is not just to see. It is to see and understand what is being seen. We behold the young girl, the virgin, who had been prepared from her conception to become the vehicle of the Word to become flesh. We see and we understand that God has placed his plan for our salvation in her hands. And we hear her say, "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. May it be done unto me according to your word." She sees the angel, and she understands what is being asked of her. She's willing to let salvation history take place through her. And so we behold. We see and we understand that all the incidents and incidentals of life are trifling affairs in comparison to the greatest event that ever take place, the birth of Jesus. We behold that we have been called into the heart of mystery, into the heart of God. Our hearts are made for you, O Lord, and they cannot rest until they rest in you. St. Augustine had it all together. We are always longing. We are always seeking. We are always desiring. But the only desire that fills us is the desire for Christ. And so we conclude Advent with the fervent prayer, "Come, Lord Jesus. Come, Lord of our lives. Behold." See and understand this. We are given the celebration of Christmas to come closer to God. We are given this feast to recognize that he alone can answer our needs. Take time this week. Make time this week. Make time on Thursday night, the holiest night of the year, to talk to God about the significance of Christmas. Take time to behold. See and understand that the child of Bethlehem has changed the history of mankind. And may we all have a holy Christmas. God bless you now.